Hi. So, this is a soul timeline for those of you who are in your 70s and 80s and beyond, and also the October forecast for how you can tune into the energies of this upcoming month. So, first of all, I just want to say to you all, if you are in your 70s or beyond, you guys are the ones who are essentially right now the walking, breathing wisdom keepers of this moment, right? You have carried the world on your shoulders through decades of radical change. It is fascinating because we have generations of the younger ones, the children, the teenagers, the 20s who have grown up with technology and iPads in their hands and phones in their hands. And you guys came from a completely different time and have watched it all unfold and have raised children into it and have evolved and grown. And so right now I imagine for you, because even myself, I'm in my 40s, I didn't grow up with the iPads or the iPhones, and it's been the adjustment, right? And so for you guys, just so much radical change, and you've witnessed these revolutions in culture and technology and spirituality, and it's still ongoing and it's speeding up, and it's an amazing time to be alive. And you've witnessed old systems falling away and all this new stuff coming in, right? So I just really see you guys as the bridge between these eras that are happening and these major changes that are happening, and you hold the lived memory of what came before. It's like you have what was, and you have it and you hold it, and it's part of your wisdom and it's part of what you walk with, and you carry the experience through incredibly changing times. And so I wonder, how is it to orient to a time that is speeding up so fast when you have experienced something very, very different in most of your adult life growing up? And so I just want to really honor you all for your journey, for your heart, for all the contribution through such changing times. And yeah, it's like you guys are the living libraries and the literal living ancestors right now. So thank you for joining me here on this video as well. So let's jump in. The 70s and 80s, right? So this is really ushering in the elderhood and these wisdom years. And they are certainly defined by a higher degree of surrender and faith. And there is a very powerful orientation that comes in with how you're relating to yourself, to the world, and to your relationships in general. And so um, at the beginning of the 70s, we have the Jupiter return, which happens every 12 years. So around 72, the Jupiter return. And this is really ushering in this huge expansion. And then at 73, 74, we have the Saturn opposition, which is an opposing force to what was going on for you around the 60s when the Saturn return happened, the late 50s into 60s. So around 59, 60, what shifts were you creating? What were you reestablishing in your life? And this current time of 73, 74 is going to be a pivotal um, sort of reset and anchoring even deeper into what was being seeded and shifted into in that early 60s time. And then at 74, we have the nodal return once again comes in. And this is a profound anchoring into really making sure that you are fulfilling your desire, going towards your destiny that lives in your heart. And and then in the 80s, we have strong Neptune Pluto influence. Can be, some people will go through the opposition, not everybody. This isn't something that's at a particular age, but varies for each person depending on your birth chart. So if you know your birth chart, of course, always it's going to bring in a lot more information for you if you know what houses these planets fall in your chart and all of the things like that. We also have this another Jupiter return in at 84, which is I'm going to talk more about these as we go, but major expansion at that time. And then one of the most profound stages of the 80s is the Uranus return, which is like a full circle around who your unique journey, your unique path, how you have lived your truth throughout your life. And so Yeah, we have a very, and let's remember too with the years, that these significant times, what we're doing here with the soul timeline is these years are marking um, moments where your soul has arrived to the next level initiation into growth for yourself. It's like a readiness. Like, this is the time. This is the time that you are ready to face and confront whatever it is that is coming up for you in your life, from yourself, from your soul. And to meet with it in a way, kind of like a video game, right? Like next level. Like, you've done so much. We have prepared for these moments that we arrive to, whether we realize it or not, but we've been in a journey of preparation. Our life prepares us. And then we arrive to these milestone moments, these markers in our own personal timeline. And they are indications, they're indicators of, okay, you're ready, next level, face what's here, and access your next level of power, essentially, is what we can say. So at 72, there is the Jupiter return, which offers this upward momentum to expand and reach for opportunities and for greater meaning in life. So if you're at the beginning of your 70s, I'm sure you're very much feeling this quest kind of energy of, and it can be a shifting also of your truth and meaning and purpose. Like, what we once thought was true or real to us evolves. Obviously, we all know this. And so at the 72 age, there, that can be, it's the closure of a 12-year cycle, and it's the beginning of the next, in relationship to what you know to be true, how, what you're anchored in, your true value and meaning for life in your life. So this can be a very profound stage coming into the beginning of the 70s into age 72, and then on the other side of it. Because remember, with cycles, we're either moving towards the transitional age and stage and growth moment, or we're in it exactly on that age, or we're on the other side of it. So one way or another, we are um, in process, right? We are in a certain awareness in our own consciousness. And so when something is like coming, we can feel like, oh, this initiation is coming, this ceremony is coming, but it's not yet there. And then when we're in it, we're in it. And when we're on the other side of it, there's a whole nother level of wisdom that's being cultivated. Like, I just came from that, I moved from that, and now sort of what next? Now we're integrating and moving into next stages, right? So it's like it sets the tone for new beginnings. And so this is what's happening around that 72 age. And then at 73, 74, we have the Saturn opposition, and then we have another nodal return. And so it's a powerful, powerful reset time into anchoring you into basically continuing to go in the direction of your true soul's calling, to shed more of the skins of the past and to release what you feel is necessary, and simply to just like not carry burdens, not carry the weight. It's just not needed, right? Like, there is this becoming lighter quality that is really moving in the 70s and 80s. Like, what once mattered just doesn't. There is a whole nother set of meaningful and important aspects of who you are that matter, that are taking on a different level of what actually matters to you now. And that's really what's coming through in the 70s and 80s. And so then in the 80s now, if you're moving towards that or in that, the Neptune and Pluto can be a really powerful influence. And that's just, there's a very revolutionary energy going on here. And the 80s is defined by a powerful revolutionary energy with Uranus. It what went on in the 40s, the midlife crisis, revolutionary energy of the 42 to the 44, is now come full circle at age 85 with this real liberation and freedom. That is the intention, to sort of lighten up your heart, knowing that you have lived a truly authentic and true life. And so we're not talking about a life without mistakes. We're talking about that you have lived the human journey and you have fulfilled the soul purpose, that your life has been meaningful and purposeful. Because I very much believe that we're all living out a hero's journey, and that our life is a love story, and that we go through the crises and the challenges and the failures, and we all move through this same sort of human experience. And that is what makes it all so, well, we are all in this together, but then there is this, we each carry a very specific and sacred purpose. And so our stories represent that. All of our stories are so valuable. However, we lived it through, right? And so that really comes to like this full circle time at that 84 um, Uranus return energy, and then the Pluto and the Neptune influences that can strongly be happening at these generations too, is like a loosening, softening of the ego's grip, and a feeling of completion and transcendence is really starting to come in, right? There are the tests of mortality, certainly, that are happening. And so these passages of release and surrender and letting go, and there's the thinning of the veils experience that moves in even stronger in the 70s and 80s. And I really look at it like it's a time where we are asked or called to allow, like, what I call the eternal self to shine clearer than any other role or title that has, consumed our lifetime. So getting closer to the other side sort of demands that we also start to embody more this eternal self, eternal soul kind of energy. And that is really beautiful. There's what we could also look at as like an alignment with the arc of your karmic story, the story of your life coming to a full circle in a different way for you to witness and experience than essentially maybe you ever have, because of the different types of connection to what is now valuable, changes than what was in the 40s or the 30s or the 50s, right? It's a different kind of experience that's going on in the 70s and 80s. And so I think together these decades, they ask, there's this sort of question going on around, what do I no longer need to carry, and what essence do I wish to pass on? These are legacy years, right? Like what have you seeded? What have you created? What do you have to give and to share and pass on? These are the wisdom years where the world needs the guidance, of what it's has been like to endure in certain ways, in your ways, simply the human experience, right? And so October, the influence going on in October, first of all, we have the Saturn Neptune influence. And so if you are at the 70s, 74 age, then this Saturn energy is going to be really profound for you, really activating a lot of change and shifting in your life. And the Saturn Neptune energy, it's in the very last degrees of the zodiac and the very first degrees of the zodiac. So 29 Pisces, 0 Aries. And this just has a whole lot to do with the ultimate surrender, the ultimate let go, the release, the end of cycles, the end of the zodiac. And then the beginning of the zodiac is a brand new, fresh start. So everybody, 2025 is powerfully defined by, we are all feeling in some way in our lives, in our psyche, in our soul experience, something really powerful being released. We are letting go of aspects of ourselves, of false paradigms, and just what's not necessary to carry forth anymore. And there is a really powerful new beginning that is coming in, and we are feeling it, and we are preparing for it, and we are sort of building, like, what is next? There is something next. And so we're in this retrograde now into the last degrees of Pisces, and then it's going to be completely finished, and no more of this Pisces energy with Saturn Neptune for a long while. And what's going to shift in February of 2026 is really powerful, and we're preparing for that now. I keep saying, like, we're like cleaning house. We're like getting ready for February, when Saturn and Neptune moves into Aries, the very beginning of the zodiac, and stays there. And now that new beginning energy, that new impulse to go in a new direction and to start and begin and just move forward, is going to be very, very powerful and strong in February. So we're preparing for that now in October. The other thing is Pluto has been retrograde for the past 6 months, and now it's direct. So this is very, very powerful as well, because Pluto retrograde. We have been in this very deep personal self-work inner process in different ways for everybody. And now the Pluto direct energy, it's like, it really presses to evolve, to move forward, to go get it, move on kind of energy. And so That is happening. And if you're in your 70s and 80s, this may not be about like outer striving, but about your soul radiating its deepest truth, becoming the living guide or holding the wisdom, whether it's silently through yourself for yourself or through actually sharing your experience and your story. Um, yeah, because it's needed, because it's valuable, and because we want to hear it, kind of thing. And so we're also in the Scorpio Libra season right now. So there is going to be powerful influences all through October and November, all about relationships and what are we ready to release once and for all, and just going deeper into depths of our truth and ourselves. It's very Libra Scorpio time. So there can be these questions around, you know, what am I ready to let go of so that my soul can shine clearer? What wisdom am I ready to share? And just to simply be, to just to walk in my wisdom, like you have earned it, you have experienced. Um, and then there's the question around truth in relationships. So this is a powerful October theme. And so I want to thank you for joining me. I invite you to, I have workshops available. It's a pay what you want kind of thing. If you want to go deeper into understanding what house of your chart these Saturn influences or North Node influences or Uranus or Pluto is happening in your chart, you can find those on my website in my shop. And if you want to learn more about your birth chart and join a community, please come and join us in my astrology community. It is an amazing, beautiful space where there's a lot of people sharing astrology, learning more about the astrology every week, every month together, sharing their charts. And I also have a whole membership forum that you can join and join live classes with me and really get to understand your chart and the soul timeline and just explore this deeper. So thank you for joining me. Blessings for October, and I will see you soon. Aloha.